Test. 1, 2. Thank you all for attending. I believe, Bob, this is our 4th annual Kentucky Derby seminar that we're doing.
And the last one we did was in September.
Yeah, exactly. So quick turnaround. Thank you all for returning. Some new faces, excellent. And everybody out there in Streamland, we're actually streaming this live broadcast throughout the United States. So live from the Rampart Casino, myself, Bob Ike, on the Rampart Casino website. Welcome all. Got a few more people attending, getting settled in. Thank you so much. And what we're going to do here is we're going to present several replays of the Kentucky Derby prep races. We will break down each and every horse, myself and Mr. Bob Ike, professional handicapper, master handicapper. Bob has swept a card at Santa Anita, 9 for 9, publicized. Where was that, Bob? Was that your sheet, or was that?
I was in some, the local newspapers
yes,
there.
That's right. Yeah, the LA Times and, stuff like that. So that's just awesome. And it's just such a pleasure to have Bob here that I could compare notes with Bob. And, Bob is amazing.
Well, thank you, and I enjoy being here. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We have a great time doing it. I think this is our 4th one now, Duane.
Yes.
And what we like to do is go through and show the 6 major prep races that lead up to the Kentucky Derby, talk about the horses that were in those races, and we'll go through. We have 19 horses now. There was a scratch
One
of
defection.
King
Yes.
Fury is out,
Yes.
if you didn't hear that. So we do not have a full 20 this year. Kind of interesting that usually you'll even have horses on the also eligible list. This year, a number of horses that had enough points to get in chose to not run in the Derby or go in other races on the undercard even. So,
Correct. Was it the points like 0? You didn't even need
yeah,
points?
I mean, the points didn't even come into play.
Right.
I was watching the telecast today. This is the least experienced field in the history of the Kentucky Derby, averaging only about 5 starts per horse leading into the Derby, which is so much different than it used to be done. Horses would run 6 or 8 or 10 times even as a 2-year-old, and
Correct.
half a dozen times before the Derby. So it is the training of these horses now is completely different. Just 5 starts on average for these 19 horses coming in. So we'll go through them all. We'll watch the prep races. I'll try to point out what I've seen in them, and we're going to give you our picks and our betting strategy and so forth. So, Duane, let's start, though, with kind of the storylines of the race, which I think there are a few. Bob Baffert's always a storyline in the Kentucky Derby. He's won 6 of these things, and he's tied with Ben Jones for the most wins. He has Medina Spirit in the race, only one horse. He had about 4 of them a month ago that looked like they might be in the Derby, and either by injury or poor performance, they dropped out. So he's down to 1, and it's kind of a horse he's been sort of not.
It's like a grinder.
Yeah, not giving a lot of love. He said, well, maybe we got a shot to hit the board. But Medina Spirit, he's not a horse that I'm going to have picked way high. But if he got a piece of it, it wouldn't shock me, just because Baffert knows how to bring these horses up to the race.
I mean, just like Bob said, you look at that 6 Kentucky Derby victories, and probably life is good if he would have been top 2 selections, in my opinion. Essential Quality will take some beating, but, that horse was on an impressive run until the injury, and, he was taken out of the race. So now we're left with Medina Spirit, who definitely has, a chance to finish in the top 4, in my opinion. Not win the race, but, get a piece.
Derby favorites were on a big roll between 2013, 2018. 6 straight favorites won this race.
Huge, yeah.
And you're looking at 20-horse fields every year, and with all the traffic, it was kind of an amazing run after many years of long shots. The last 2 years, 19 was of course the DQ year,
Which was the favorite, correct?
I think he might have been at post time. Maximum Security DQ'd, and Country House moved up as a big long shot. Last year, Authentic beat 'Tis the Law, who was the favorite, but ran well. So
Correct.
We've had that streak of favorites ended. So
And it might have continued if the Belmont wasn't the first leg, because 'Tis the Law, you know,
you're
might have
right.
won
Yeah,
the Derby.
good
so-
point. That's right. I forgot all about that. The Belmont was the first leg last year. Crazy year. We have a 2-year-old champion running in Essential Quality. In the last 20 years, only 3 2-year-old champions have won the Derby. Street Sense, I think that was in 07, Nyquist 16 maybe, and then American Pharaoh, or Nyquist might have been 12. American Pharaoh was 15. So it hasn't always translated that the champion 2-year-old would even make the Kentucky Derby, let alone win it. But we do have the favorite in the race this year. Essential Quality is the 2-year-old champ. So I think it's time we dive in and show some prep races. And the first one we're going to show is the Florida Derby, because number 1 in the draw this year is Known Agenda. And it's a horse I know Duane has pretty high up on his list. Coming out of the Florida Derby is also the second place finisher, who was Soup and Sandwich. So we're going to watch that. Known Agenda is number 5 in this race. Soup and Sandwich is a gray horse who's out on the lead. He's number 8. And let's go ahead and watch it and see what we learn from the Florida Derby. Here we go.
They're in the gate. And they're off in the Curlin Florida Derby. Excellent beginning for Soup and Sandwich, with Nova Rags moving out the rail. In between horses, Quantum Leap is hunting some forward position, and Collaborate gets started while 4 wide. Long shot Hirafales has the rail with Known Agenda just ahead of him. Then it's Spielberg. In between horses, Sigiloso, followed by Papatoo. The big favorite, Greatest Honor, settles in 10th of the 11, and it's a gap of 6 to Southern Passage, who's 11th and last, chasing the speed of Nova Rags. Nova Rags leads narrowly as Soup and Sandwich is up alongside second. Collaborate on the outside as a joint third alongside Quantum Leap. 2 back to Sigiloso, then Known Agenda. Spielberg is 3 wide. Papatoo is racing together with Hirafales. Now Jose Ortiz, he has Greatest Honor down toward the inside. He'll need a little racing room. He just tapped on the brakes while 10th, and still far back to Southern Passage. The opening quarter was 23-2. The half mile was 47-3. They raced to the half mile point. In the Florida Derby, Soup and Sandwich continues to tussle with Nova Rags. Collaborate has been 3 wide throughout, but he's in range. Quantum Leap is next. Known Agenda needs a way out. Greatest Honor is hemmed in traffic as Sigiloso is alongside. Papatoo tries to make ground. Then it's a length and a half to Hirafales, who drops back. Southern Passage is trailed throughout. Less than 3 furlongs to go. Soup and Sandwich has come away with the lead. Nova Rags tries to cling to in second. Known Agenda is being asked to quicken, and he wants to get to the outside. Collaborate's not keeping the hole closed, so here comes Known Agenda. Greatest Honor's on his back after 3 quarters. In 1:12-1, Known Agenda is now on to take over the lead. It's Known Agenda and Irad Ortiz Jr. now moving away from Soup and Sandwich, who's back to second. Then Greatest Honor and Nova Rags. 16th to go. It's Pletcher in the Derby again. It's Known Agenda for St. Elias Stable under Irad Ortiz Jr. 2.5 clear. Soup and Sandwich second. Third, Greatest Honor. Nova Rags was 4th. There's a picture for 5th.
Yeah.
I'll let you lead with Known Agenda, because I know you have him picked up fairly high. So why don't you start with this horse? He showed that he can run on the inside, that's for sure. He's drawing the rail in a 19-horse field. One quick note on that, there's a new starting gate this year that holds all the horses. Before, they would have 2 starting gates, an auxiliary gate, and it was really a huge disadvantage, I think, to be in the 1 post. So I'm not sure how it'll play out this year, but he did show that he could take dirt in his face and come along the inside. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. And you do have a little more space now. You have to take that into consideration, that you're not right on top of the rail with this new 20-horse gate. So that definitely helps Known Agenda. I don't think it's the dreaded rail that it's perceived to be. So, you know, you look at this race, like Bob said, he was on the rail. Irad gets very aggressive. That's a key. Remember, Irad Ortiz is on this horse. He right now is the best rider in North America, if not the world. this kid is a monster. He has superior skills. And you could see the way he was able to start to motivate the horse when he felt that the race was winnable. Get him off the rail, get around the 2 speed horses, and make note, Soup and Sandwich did a lot of the dirty work there. I mean, this is a long shot that was on the lead, some honest fractions, 112 and change. Irad goes around those 2 horses, and, you know, there was just nothing that was going to catch him that day. And a similar trip, you know, if you start to get around the speed and you open up a little at Churchill Downs, you know, you have to really go back a long ways to find a deep, deep closer like Monarchos, Ali Sheba, that comes from the clouds and wins the Kentucky Derby. So I know Irad's going to have the horse in great position. Todd Pletcher, we all know about Todd. Excellent, excellent trainer. Somewhat East Coast, always goes to California when he thinks he has a chance. You know, I think this horse definitely could hit the board. I have him in my top 3 selections. I feel that he's going to get a really good trip, and it's going to be tough to beat. Look at him since he added blinkers. You know, that's the covers around the eyes that keep the horse, you know, focused in on running, basically. And 2 for 2 since that maneuver. Big optional 75,000 claimer, then the grade 1. The Sam F. Davis wasn't that bad either. He tried to pull an Ali Sheba. He made up 9 lengths that day, and that was his first asking of the year. So I think this horse is tough, Bob. I'm really impressed with that race.
Besides him, number 19 in the race is Soup and Sandwich, who was only making his 3rd start in the Florida Derby. He was 2 for 2 going into the race. He held on pretty tenaciously. He was no match for the winner. I guess my concern about the race, Duane, is it were a couple things. I'm not sure how strong that Florida contingent of horses was. Greatest Honor was supposed to be the best of those, and he never really progressed. He ran 3rd. Right. He did not make the Derby. Known Agenda, he was really being asked hard at that. When I was watching the race live, I really didn't think he was going anywhere at the quarter pole because Arad really got into him and had to ask him, and then he did respond, and he came away. Duane makes a good point. He's 2 for 2 with blinkers. My thought on that also might be, was it Gulfstream Park that moved this horse up? He's 2 for 2 at Gulfstream. So I'm at 6 to 1. He's one of the kind of 2nd-tier horses in here, but I'm going to try to beat Known Agenda. I was negative on him before the draw, and then when he got the rail, I said, you know what, that's a horse I'm going to take a stand against. So I'm going to try to beat him. And then Soup and Sandwich, who was 2nd in the race, I think, you know, I don't think he's good enough.
Too lightly raced.
And I'm just kind of taking a stand a little bit against the Florida horses. So I'll go elsewhere. Let's talk about number 2, Duane, Like the King, and number 5, Sainthood, because they come out of the Jeff Ruby Stakes, not S-T-A-K-E-S, but stakes as in what you eat, S-T-E-A-K-S.
Right.
This was run over the synthetic track at Turfway Park, traditionally not a strong prep race. We did have Animal Kingdom come out of that race many years ago and win a Derby. Like the King is a late runner under Drayden Van Dyke, who's 50 to 1 in here. Sainthood, who was 2nd in the race with trouble, is also 50 to 1. So those 2 are not getting much respect coming out of that race, and to me, kind of for good reason. I don't think they're fast enough to win the race.
Maybe if it was a 2-year-old race with Wesley Ward, the king of 2-year-old trainers, definitely, you know, Like the King. But I agree with Bob. These horses, you know, they just really, in my opinion, they don't have what it takes. But now Sainthood is very lightly raced. And Todd Pletcher, once again, you get Corey Lannery, who's a wily veteran, you know, maybe further along in the season, Belmont Stakes, Travers, Jim Dandy. This horse, you might see him pop up, but I just think they're a little overmatched. I might use Sainthood in the 4 position in my superfectas, but I don't believe that, like, you know, Bob said, the Jeff Ruby Stakes is not always the best prep. Animal Kingdom, you're going back many years there, and he was a great racehorse. So I'm going to take a pass on these 2. You know, the race wasn't that visually impressive as well.
Okay, number 3 is Brooklyn Strong, and he comes out of the Wood Memorial, and a few horses do. The winner was Bourbonic, who was 72 to 1 that day.
Is that all?
Dynamic One was in the race, and Brooklyn Strong. So 3 horses that are in the Derby tomorrow come out of this race. We'll show it. The winner comes from dead last. He's number 3, Bourbonic. And the 1 horse is Brooklyn Strong. The 5 horse is Dynamic One. And Duane, you're a New York guy. I always like to tell you how bad the Wood Memorial is
bad.
every year. I think it was really bad this year.
I agree. This year was, it
I
left
mean,
a
they
lot
were
to be
coming home.
desired.
You could time these horses with a sundial, the way they were coming home.
I agree.
But let's take a look at it, because everybody loves to watch the deep closers come in, and that was the case here with a gigantic upset. So this was the Wood Memorial, in my opinion, the weakest of all the Derby prep races, and here it is.
With the call, the Wood Memorial, John Embryo.
And they're off. From the inside, Brooklyn Strong. From mid-pack, there goes Prevalence. Wayburn is there, and on the extreme outside, it is Market Maven. The 3-year-olds race into the clubhouse turn, and Market Maven will grab the lead from Prevalence. Then it is Wayburn. Down on the inside is Brooklyn Strong, followed by Candyman Rocket, who is racing in 5th. On the outside is Dynamic One, next in 6th. Risk Taking is 7th at this point. It's almost 3 lengths back to a stablemate. Crowded Trade in 8th, and trailing the field is Bourbonic. They're on the backstretch now. The quarter went in 24 and 4/5 seconds. And it is Longshot Market Maven who leads here by a half length. Wayburn is on the outside in 2nd. Then it's a little more than a length to Prevalence, who's in between horses. Candyman Rocket on his outside, and Brooklyn Strong is down at the rail. Risk Taking is in 6th, 4.5 lengths from the lead. Then it's Dynamic One, followed by Crowded Trade, and farther back, Bourbonic. The half mile, 50 seconds. Market Maven leads 3/4 of a length. Wayburn on the outside in 2nd. Candyman Rocket is in 3rd. And Candyman Rocket's move is followed by Dynamic One, who's gaining ground on the outside. Prevalence is in between horses. Brooklyn Strong is down at the rail. Risk Taking is still 4 lengths from the lead. Crowded Trade is now coming on and looking to gain ground in between horses. 3/4 went in 1:14 and 4. The field is at the top of the stretch in the Wood Memorial. Here's Wayburn. Here's Dynamic One on the outside. Brooklyn Strong is down at the rail, and Crowded Trade is coming on now as they come for the 8th pole. It is Dynamic One. Here's Crowded Trade on the outside. Wayburn continues to battle down at the rail, and it's a 16th to the finish. And here's Bourbonic, who was last, making a late run out in the middle of the track. It is Dynamic One and Bourbonic. Dynamic One and Bourbonic, a photo finish. Bourbonic got there under Kendrick Carmouche. Kendrick Carmouche thinks he got there, and it's a major upset in this 20.
It was a major upset, 72-1. These 3 horses really have gotten no respect from the morning line maker at Churchill either. Brooklyn Strong is 50-1. Dynamic One, who actually ran okay because he was parked wide.
You think Jose Ortiz would have got a fine in California? He whipped that horse about 20 times inside the 16th pole.
You get a fine in California if you whisper to the horse coming down the stretch. Dynamic One is 20-1. And the other one, Bourbonic, is 30. So
Yeah.
to me, I can't use any of these horses coming out of the Wood Memorial. I thought it was a really bad race, and it's just going to...
I agree. If you look at the horses, they were all like bouncing up and down, waiting to get caught. And it seemed like Crowded Trade was going to go by, which is another Chad Brown horse, but he just then flattened out. And you could really see that this was subpar competition. And Bourbonic got the job done. Credit to Kendrick Carmouche, but still, it just seemed like the race was unraveling, and the horse that made the last move was going to win. And biggest upset in Wood history. The other prep before that, I believe Wayburn paid like $90 as well. So when you're dealing with the New York prep races, it seems like all bombs have been coming in, and that shows that, what the public feels and what the experts feel, it just wasn't coming to fruition. And when you see these big prices, you kind of get leery because how fit and how good is the competition. So I agree with Bob. I definitely thought this was one of the worst Woods.
The next race we're going to watch is the Bluegrass. Number 4, Keep Me in Mind, is one of them here, since we're just kind of going down in post-position order. Big, crazy long shot at 50-1. But also in this race, Essential Quality, who's the favorite, Highly Motivated, who ran a great second. Hidden Stash was also in the race, as well as Keep Me in Mind. So 4 of the horses in the Derby come out of the Bluegrass. Essential Quality kept his undefeated streak alive. He had to work hard to do it. A horse, Duane, I know you like quite a bit, and we'll talk about, is Highly Motivated for Chad Brown. Ran a very strong race. And then Hidden Stash, I didn't think had a whole lot of excuse. So we're going to look at the winner. Essential Quality is the 4 horse. Highly Motivated is the 3. Hidden Stash is the 1. Keep Me in Mind is number 9, who don't really think you're going to see much of him. He ends up far back. So here's the Bluegrass Stakes, and the race favorite tomorrow will be Essential Quality, coming off this win.
With the call of the Bluegrass Stakes.
And they're off in the Toyota Bluegrass Stakes. There goes Highly Motivated from the inside, right out for the early lead. Essential Quality comes away up close to the outside to challenge for the top spot as they head down to the first turn. Highly Motivated scoots over next to the rail. Essential Quality goes second up on the outside. Rumbauer hugs the rail behind the front pair in third. Hush of a Storm is up close in fourth. Keep Me in Mind toward the outside is in fifth. Sitting on Go is 6 back toward the inside. Hidden Stash seventh. Leblin eighth. Untreated ninth and last as they hit the backstretch. The opening quarter in 23.83 seconds. Highly Motivated the leader. Highly Motivated in front, a half length. Essential Quality goes second by a length. Keep Me in Mind is toward the outside in the third position. Hush of a Storm far outside fourth. Rumbauer sneaks up the rail. Fifth to fourth to third. A length and a half off the lead. Sitting on Go. 6 between horses. Hidden Stash, Leblin Untreated at the back. It was 48.21 seconds, the time for the opening half mile. Highly Motivated the leader. Essential Quality is second. A half length separate the top 2 onto the far turn. Rumbauer is third. Keep Me in Mind fourth on the outside. Now taking third ahead, 2 lengths off the front pair. Hush of a Storm in fifth. Hidden Stash between horses down toward the inside in sixth, is still 6 lengths off the lead. Highly Motivated has the lead coming toward the quarter pole. Essential Quality second on the outside. Still a half length separate the top 2, and they've opened up by 7 lengths off the turn to Hidden Stash, who swings wide in third. Here comes Essential Quality now, taking aim once again at Highly Motivated, who still has the lead coming into the final furlong of the Toyota Bluegrass. Highly Motivated with the advantage. Essential Quality is still driving at him from the outside past the 16th pole. Highly Motivated. Essential Quality. What a finish. The champ remains unbeaten. Essential Quality to win it for Luis Saez.
Things make sense.
2 ran just huge in the race. Essential Quality did end up getting there. He had to work very hard. In fact, at the 8th pole, I thought the other horse had turned him away.
Right.
Highly Motivated was making only his 5th start. Seems to be, moving definitely in the right direction for Chad Brown, who's going to win one of these derbies someday. He's too great of a trainer not to.
I agree.
Essential Quality, trained by Brad Cox, who was the champion trainer last year, had a phenomenal year. I don't have any knocks on this favorite. I think he's a really nice horse. He was good to me on Breeders' Cup Day last year when I needed him, and I think he's the horse to beat. He's going to be my top pick. Now, another little note here. He's 2-1 on the morning line, but Mattress Mac from Houston has already said he's betting between $2 and $4 million on this horse to offset his mattress promotion. That's going to knock the price. Even though the pool is huge on Derby Day, $4 million is still going to knock his horse down a couple points.
He already put 500,000. The horse is 3-5 right now. Essential Quality. He got down a little early, so you look. I think these are 2 major players in this race. You look at that race; it's just incredible. And Highly Motivated had to go to the lead. He was choice. Javi had to put him on the lead because that Essential Quality, if not, is just going to dominate and romp around the track. And I thought, like Bob as well, that he got turned away, Essential Quality, but it just shows the heart of this 2-year-old champion. Great duel from Javi and Luis Saez. Luis Saez rode maximum security. Really a hard-nosed rider. I really like his riding style. And I believe this was the best prep. This is the basically the line that you draw, I feel, as a prep race, and this is the measuring stick. These are the two horses that I feel are the horses to beat, and I think Bob agrees.
I do agree. I think this was the strongest prep race. Like I said, I don't have knocks on either. I guess a lot of people question whether Highly Motivated is going to be able to go 1.25 miles being by Into Mischief. I don't know. I don't put all that much on pedigree at this point. I mean, you know, he's going to be tactical, and he'll be in a good spot turning for home. And, you know, if he's good enough, he's good enough. He's definitely going to be a much bigger price than Essential Quality. For horses that finished a neck apart, you're going to get a lot more value, Duane, with Highly Motivated.
And what a duel. You have Cox versus Brown, two of the best trainers in the country right now. So, you know, that was a great prep, and you could tell how far back the other horses were. I mean, Hidden Stash almost beat Helium at Tampa Bay, but that horse was like 12, 13 lengths behind these two. So you have to take that into consideration. Look at the other competition, how far they were back. Highly Motivated, Speed Figures, and Ragazines are improving, so keep that in mind as well.
Okay, the next one we'll watch is the Louisiana Derby. And in tomorrow's Kentucky Derby, you see number 6, Obesos is one of them, but also in the race was Hot Rod Charlie, who won the race, Mandaloon, who was favored in the race, Midnight Bourbon, he was second in this upcoming Louisiana Derby, and then Obesos finished third, kind of running along the rail. Hot Rod Charlie showed more speed than expected that day. He went right to the front. He was a horse I didn't think had that kind of speed. He was second to Essential Quality in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year. And just kind of a little anecdote here is the O'Neills are kind of in-laws with me. My wife is, and Dennis O'Neill's sister, let me get this straight. It's too confusing. My wife and Dennis O'Neill's wife are sisters, and we live next door to each other. Beautiful. Dennis O'Neill picked out this horse, Hot Rod Charlie, for his brother, Doug O'Neill, who's the trainer. Part of the ownership is their nephew, Patrick. He's part of boat racing. He played football at Brown. So it's a bunch of football buddies got in on this horse. So it's kind of a cool story. They come off a win in $1 million race, the Louisiana Derby, which was 1 3/16, closest
that winner's
in
circle
distance.
Was crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
They were having fun. And this race was 6 weeks ago, so it was the farthest prep out. So, okay, we got a lot of storylines there. So let's watch the Louisiana Derby at Fairgrounds. This was on March 20th.
Louisiana Derby.
And they're off on the twinspires.com Louisiana Derby. There's Right and Just, who strikes out. Taking back Star in My Dreams. Right there is Hot Rod Charlie. And on the outside is Midnight Bourbon with, for the inside, Run Classic in 4th. First time blinker Proxy in the Royal Blue in 5th. And Mandaloon now moves up on the outside to engage these leaders as they enter the clubhouse turn. At the inside, Hot Rod Charlie, Midnight Bourbon between horses. And Mandaloon, green, pink sash with the white sleeves, who's posted 3 wide as they round the clubhouse turn just inside. 7 furlongs to run. Right and Just broke sharp, now running 4th. John Velasquez and Proxy, 5th between horses. It's Hot Rod Charlie who leads with 6 furlongs to go. Run Classic now, worked off the rail by Brian Hernandez Jr. Star in My Dreams is running second to last, and Obesos trails in 8th position. The opening quarter in 47.04 seconds after the initial quarter in 23.10 seconds. Out in front, it's still Hot Rod Charlie who leads here for Joel Rosario. Hot Rod Charlie tracked by Midnight Bourbon. Right and Just is right there with Mandaloon, 4th on the outside as they go toward the far turn. Proxy is 6 lengths off the pace. Star My Dreams being driven toward the rail. 3/4, 1:11.25 seconds. We trail back to Obesos, and Run Classic is last now as Midnight Bourbon takes a run at Hot Rod Charlie as they come to the top of the fairground stretch. Mandaloon, Proxy looking to unwind on the far outside, then toward the inside, Right and Just as they come for home. Star in My Dreams from Obesos and Run Classic. They come down toward this final furlong. It's Hot Rod Charlie, and Midnight Bourbon needs to lift. Hot Rod Charlie finding for Joel Rosario. They come past the 16th. Hot Rod Charlie just holds Midnight Bourbon, and rattling home is Obesos. It's Hot Rod Charlie to win the TwinSpires.com Louisiana Derby. Second photo, Midnight Bourbon and Obesos close. Proxy finished fourth. Star of My Dreams, Mandaloon flattened today. Right and Just and
game win. I thought Midnight Bourbon was going by, kind of like this horse, turned him away with the other one seemed to have all the momentum. Joel Rosario rode him that day, rode him very strongly. Rosario was on concert tour in the Arkansas Derby, thinking that would be his Derby mount. That horse ran poorly. So then you kind of get musical jockeys because trainers don't want to wait around, and jockey agents want their to wait around as long as possible before they make their commitment. So while they were waiting around, Doug O'Neill went ahead and got Flavien Prat, who, in my opinion, you love Arad, I love Flavien Prat on the West Coast. I think they're probably the two best riders in the country.
He only wins 1 out of 3 races, Pratt.
Right. So this Hot Rod Charlie, to me, is a horse who can get a big piece of it tomorrow.
Right.
Doug O'Neill's won 2 derbies. He knows how to do it.
Definitely.
This horse is doing well. I think he's healthy and looks like he'll get the distance. I just think he's the best of the horses that come out of there. Midnight Bourbon, he just, no excuse to me in that race.
Right.
Mandaloon was awful.
He was
I don't know what happened to him that day. So
sure.
To me, Hot Rod Charlie's a contender. What do you think of the race?
Well, yeah, I definitely do. And you brought up a point, Bob. Was that Doug O'Neill's brother that also picked out I'll Have Another? Is that correct?
Yeah,
so,
and Nyquist. So, he's done a pretty good job of picking these horses out.
Yeah, definitely. And this might be the third time's the charm. The whole thing with this race, what I feel, is that Joel Rosario kind of had a choice here. Stick with Hot Rod Charlie, or you go with Rock Your World. I think that he chose the California horse. Now, there's rich tradition with Joel and John Sadler. So, I know that connection. But, it seems like Joel had his pick here, and he went to another horse. And this horse is battle-tested. I mean, he goes West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, East Coast, Hot Rod Charlie. And that was great. I mean, because I respect Midnight Bourbon. Mandaloon was the buzz horse. He didn't fire at all. You seen Obesos making a rail move, which was basically a 2-horse pace race. So Obesos made up some ground. And, it's an interesting prep. I chose to leave Hot Rod Charlie out of my tickets, and I did put in Joel's choice as opposed to him. I feel that Rosario made the choice here. Hot Rod Charlie, like Bob just said, I didn't think he had that much speed as well. And this is a horse that, when he was in Southern California, lost to Bob Baffert's Medina Spirit as well. So, he got real close to essential quality as a 2-year-old. Now coming along as 3-year-olds, I just think there's a few better horses in here, Bob. I respect this race. I mean, I'm going to use Midnight Bourbon in some of my trifectas. I think the switch to Mike Smith is very important from Joe Talamo. I think that's lengths. I mean, I believe that Mike Smith is way better than Joe Talamo right now, and especially in big money situations. So I will use Midnight Bourbon. And Mandaloon, he's the head scratcher. He would have been the favorite or co-favorite if he wins this race. That's, a huge stepping stone, because his prior race was supposedly the best prep up until we showed you these past 5 races. So Mandaloon is like kind of the enigma. You don't know what he's going to bring to the table. He's going to take some money, because I'm hearing some wise guy buzz on this horse. And, if Florent Giroux and Cox could get this horse back to where he was, Mandaloon could definitely be used. So keep that in mind. This was a classic bounce for that horse. And I'm sure you didn't see much of him because he just trailed. He was way in the back, and nobody anticipated that. So this is an interesting prep. I use this as a tool. Probably Midnight Bourbon and Mandaloon I like the best out of this race.
Okay, number 8 in the Derby is Medina Spirit. We've talked a little bit about this being Bob Baffert's only starter. He had a horse named Life is Good who looked like he was the second coming, and he had Concert Tour, who was, supposed to win the Arkansas Derby for fun. And this was always kind of the third or fourth horse in the barn, a hard knocker. He tries hard. He's been first or second in all 5 starts, but I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of respect come tomorrow. He's 15-1 on the morning line. He was solidly defeated by Rock Your World, and we're going to show the Santa Anita Derby. Rock Your World is an interesting horse who's undefeated in 3 starts, but he made his first 2 starts on the turf, so we didn't know if he's going to run on the dirt, but boy did he. When we show you the Santa Anita Derby, he came out running. He never looked back. He turned horses away. He galloped out very, very strongly past the wire, and poor Umberto Rispoli, who rode him that day, thought he was on his way to Churchill Downs, only to be replaced. Trainer and owner decision that they went with Joel Rosario. So I understand the decision. You go with a guy who's, you know, one of the top 5 riders in the country. John Sadler's had tremendous success in a big race like this. Does Joel Rosario give you a better chance of winning? Yeah, probably he does. Is it fair? No. Is it bad karma? Yes. So, you know, those things, I think, I'm a little bit of a karma guy. I think you factor that kind of stuff in. You go with the guy, you know, you dance, go to the dance with who, you dance with who brung you.
I'm glad that Rispoli found him out, too. You know, it's a feel-good story that at least he's in the race.
Yeah, he is in the race. So let's take a look. You're going to see Rock Your World go right to the lead. You'll see Medina Spirit chasing in vain. And I think Rock Your World, to me, coming out of this race is a really interesting horse. I think, by the way, he's clearly the speed of the race tomorrow in a race that I don't think has a ton of speed. So if he breaks sharp with Rosario, that's iffy. If he breaks sharp, he gets the lead. I think this horse might be 2 in front, you know, going around the first turn. So here's the Santa Anita Derby, and I was there live that day. It was a fun race to watch.
With the call, the Santa Anita Derby, Frank Miramati.
They're in the gate. And they're off in the run-happy Santa Anita Derby. And Medina Spirit bounces out very well. The Great One sprints up to his outside. Parnelli is flashing speed. Rock Your World is also up close in the early stages. And just behind them, Dream Shake, Inside Law Professor, Otto the Legend, followed by Defunded and Back Ring Luck inches up on the inside. They're covered by 7 lengths, and Rock Your World will set the pace. Opens up a length and a half on Parnelli, with Medina Spirit in the clear third, just 3/4 of a length off the lead. The Great One covers up Dream Shake. Then it's Law Professor, 4 off the pace. Defunded is next. Otto the Legend just in front of Back Ring Luck. They have 5 furlongs to run in the run-happy Santa Anita Derby. And Rock Your World is the leader by a neck. Parnelli keeps the pressure on second, a length to Medina Spirit third. The Great One and Dream Shake still together, with Law Professor between those 2. Another 2 back to Defunded as they pass the half-mile pole. Otto the Legend and Back Ring Luck. Rock Your World opens up, lets it out a notch, leads by a length and a half. Now it's 2, and he's traveling kindly. Rock Your World is the one to catch. Now it's a 2.5 length lead. Medina Spirit takes up the chase in second. Dream Shake inches up inside of him. Parnelli drops back. Law Professor steadying. Defunded rallying on the outside. They're at the top of the stretch. And Rock Your World hugs the rail. Leads it by 2 lengths still. Dream Shake on the outside. Medina Spirit trying hard. It's Rock Your World in command. Medina Spirit making no progress. And it's going to be Rock Your World to take them all the way in the run-happy Santa Anita Derby. He's undefeated and wins by 4 under Roberto Rispoli. Medina Spirit was second. Dream Shake third. And then it was Defunded, followed by Law Professor.
That poor jockey, look how happy he was, celebrating. He was going to his first Derby. But an impressive effort. The horse is fast. He just kept going. I will say I thought the track was a bit speed biased that day. Speed carried very well. Alan and I were out there, and inside speed particularly. So I'm not saying you want to downgrade that effort, but just know that the track was playing very kind to speed. I thought it was a good race. I mean,
Yeah,
he's undefeated. He's versatile. He goes, and he's fast.
Finished up quick.
Finished up well and galloped out well. So I
Yes.
think he's a major player tomorrow. I don't think Baffert's winning his 7th Derby tomorrow. I really don't. If he does, he's just so much better than everybody else. It's an unfair advantage because I think Medina Spirit's a nice horse. He's a hard trying horse. I don't think he's the Derby winner.
Yeah, I agree. I'll tell you that about Medina Spirit. We'll take a lot of money on him just because of the Bob Baffert factor. But, this was definitely an impressive performance. Rock Your World finished up real quick. The Ragazine came back nice. But like Bob said, speed favoring track, which sometimes Santa Anita tends to be. I don't know how much he was really beating here. And you also have to take into consideration he did come out of 2 turf races, then jumped right into the Santa Anita race. So, Rispoli gave him a perfect ride. You could see him motivating him before the top of the stretch because he could sense that he had the lead and nothing was coming. And, there was no legitimate closer in this race. I think he'll have a little more company, although he will be on the lead in this Kentucky Derby. Let me tell you, if he opens up 2 or 3 lengths, it will be tough to catch this horse. And Joel knows what to do. Not any discredit to Umberto Rispoli. He's having a fabulous season in Santa Anita, and that kid could really ride. And you take that karma into consideration as well, which I'm kind of like Bob, and John Sadler, how many years did it take him to win a Breeders' Cup race? This is center stage now for John Sadler. He's a fabulous trainer in Southern California, spreads a little out to Oaklawn every now and then. But those of you who are not familiar with him, he really hangs his hat in Southern Cal. And this horse looks like a tailor-made horse for Santa Anita. We'll see if he takes to the Churchill Down Strip. He's going to go to the lead, so I'm going to use him in tries and supers.
We'll talk about number 12, Helium. We don't have the race to show. He won the Tampa Derby. And this, to me, is my kind of sneaky, crazy 50-1 shot that I think could sneak into the try or the super, the super high 5, however many spots they go down 5. This is a horse, he's 3 for 3, obviously facing the much better competition today. But this horse was 4 and 5 wide, stuck out every step of the way, made a good run on the far turn, hit the front, looked like he should have been overtaken by Hidden Stash, and he just kept on going. So if you're looking for a real crazy horse to get a piece of it maybe at a big price, he's 50-1 on the line, and I'm going to use him, in my tries in some capacity, at least to get to the 3rd spot. So to me, he was a little interesting. He's my crazy horse.
He killed me that day, I tell you. I had Hidden Stash. I was all over Hidden Stash that day, and, this Mark Cassie-trained horse just collared him and, just dug in. But, I just don't like the spacing pattern on this horse. That's why you're seeing 50-1. Last race was in March. So, Mark Cassie, he chose to do this with both of his horses. They're lightly raced in this race. They only have 3 starts each. Helium, in my opinion, was probably the more impressive of the 2, but it'll be the longer price. Here I believe in karma, though, again, Bob. Why isn't Ferrer on the horse? You're switching to Julien Leperoux, who, don't get me wrong, he's a Churchill House rider. He's a good rider, but I've seen him go 3 for 100 at Saratoga multiple years. So, I felt that he might have been the right fit for the horse. It's been a long inactivity period. He could definitely get a piece, but the workouts aren't all that great. So I'm going to take a pass on Helium. I just, you see how far back Hidden Stash was from that bluegrass, and I keep that in mind.
The last horse to talk about for us is number 18, Superstock, who won the Arkansas Derby at 12-1. He's now the only horse that's going to come out of the Arkansas Derby and run in the Kentucky Derby. You had the favorite in the race, Concert Tour. You had Caddo River. You had Baffert's horse, Hosier. And you had Get Her Number. All those horses had enough points to get into the Derby and elected not to. I think Caddo River had an issue, but the other ones all elected not to run, which to me tells me this just maybe wasn't a very strong race. I don't think they showed up that day. Superstock was the winner. Steve Asmussen. It's a good story. His parents are part owners, and I think they broke this horse, on their farm. So it's a sentimental story. Steve Asmussen, in my opinion, one of the top trainers in the world. They show up on the big days. I love betting him on the big days. But let's take a look at the Arkansas Derby. I thought Concert Tour was a 1-9 shot going into the race. If you said you could bet at the top of the stretch, I would have jumped in again. I thought he could not lose, and all of a sudden, he just had nothing left. So I don't know what happened to Concert Tour that day, but I just think this race fell apart a little bit after a fast pace, and Superstock took advantage. So here is the Arkansas Derby. Superstock will be number 1 in a 6-horse field.
Offer with the call of the Arkansas Derby.
They're off. Concert Tour broke better than Caddo River, but Caddo River has asked for speed from the inside, and these two will match strides with 1 lap to go. And now Rosario is going to let Caddo River lead as he takes Concert Tour just back and neck behind. The other 4 are lined up. Superstock, Hosier, Get Her Number, who's bounced around a bit, and a 4 wide Last Samurai. So Caddo River will set the pace in the Arkansas Derby, and he is a 3/4 length leader over Concert Tour, who sits in second. Superstock, Hosier, and Last Samurai are next, and they're 2.5 from the front, and then 4 lengths back to Get Her Number as they head up the backstretch. Caddo River continues to lead with a menacing, undefeated shadow to the outside in Concert Tour. Caddo River to the 4.5, a half length in front of Concert Tour, who's just waiting for the go signal from Rosario. 2.5 lengths back. Hosier's between horses. Last Samurai's 3 deep. Superstock is at the rail. He's saved every inch of ground in 2.5 from the front. Get Her Number has trailed throughout. 3 furlongs from the money in the Arkansas Derby. Caddo River only leads by a head as Concert Tour turns up the pressure at the quarter pole. These two have sprinted 3.5 clear of Superstock. Get Her Number has moved from last to 4th, and 4 from the lead. Top of the stretch, Concert Tour confronts Caddo River. Caddo River tough to get by. Concert Tour is now taking the lead, and he's a 1.5 lengths in front, but Superstock is a fresh challenger in the center of the racetrack. And here comes Superstock outside of Concert Tour. Superstock has taken over the lead. Concert Tour has been defeated. Superstock, Ricardo Santana win the Arkansas Derby. Superstock beat Caddo River. Concert Tour.
So you could just kind of see that, Concert Tour to me looked like he was under a hold and ready to win by how many lengths, and just had nothing in the final 16th. So he didn't show up. Superstock took advantage, fast-paced, did what he had to do, but to me, like I said, I don't think it was one of the stronger prep races.
Yeah, I agree. And you could see, like, Ricardo Santana kind of thought like you, Bob. He was, like, trying to weave for second place, and then he started to realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm running up on these horses. I have to switch to the outside. I think he thought Concert Tour was just going to kick clear, and then he realized he could win the race, so he moves them outside the 2, and he blows by them. He was probably the last horse I threw out. Like Bob said, Concert Tour, we'll see him later on down the road, barring a massive injury. Caddo River was coming off a bad race, ran exceptionally well here. They did all the dirty work. All you needed to be was sitting a couple of lengths behind, and you would be able to pick up the pieces in this race. I really respect, like Bob said, Steve Asmussen and Ricardo Santana. That's a big, big money combination. I've seen them win massive amounts of money together. That's his go-to guy. I don't think the prep is, Concert Tour would have taken a lot of money in this Kentucky Derby if he wins this race. Definitely. Probably Rosario would have stuck with this horse. It just wasn't meant to be for Baffert this year. So, I could use this horse. I chose not to. He's 3rd off the layoff pattern. Keep that in mind. And he was 3rd behind Essential Quality in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So, a lot of positives. We'll see how it plays out. If you're going to use him, I would recommend 4th or 5th.
Well, now it's time to get to who we like, how we're betting the race, Duane. So I'm going to put this next slide up. These are your picks and your betting strategies. So you take it away and explain what you're going to do in the Derby.
Okay, guys, you could tell from the way I was talking how high I am on highly motivated. I really think he's coming into his own. I think that the speed figures are just improving. I respect Chad Brown. He's one of my favorites. I make a ton of money with this guy. I mean, Javier Castellano, it has the total package. It has that good magic feel. And only Justify beat him that day, so I'll tell you that. I just feel that the horse is coming and sitting on a monster race. Known agenda. I really like the Florida Derby, Bob. I know what you're saying. It seemed like Irad really had to motivate the horse, but that's the learning experience. And there's been enough time in between races for him to regather himself. Todd Pletcher is a master at getting horses ready, especially 2-, 3-year-olds. You know, he knows what to do. And I definitely think that Irad Ortiz is a huge factor, that this is where his Derby mount lands. Essential Quality, it's so hard to knock this horse. I mean, he's a monster. 5 for 5, 2-year-old champion, third off the layoff now. Got by my horse, but, you know, he had to work to do it. So keep that in mind. I'm just picking him third, guys, because I believe in money management. When you're handicapping and you're wagering, this horse is going to be tremendously bet. This Mattress Mac has another $2.5 million, maybe $1.5 million to put on this horse. In a parimutuel situation, a lot of people then will just, wow, you know, he's a great guy, which he is. He does so much for the community, Mattress Mac, that people will just bet and follow his lead. So I think Essential Quality will be a little over bet here. Rock Your World, I just think he's going to succumb to the pace. I mean, I could be wrong. He could be a beast and just go out there, dominate, go the whole way around like a merry-go-round. I will be using him in superfectas and trifectas. But my win is going to be on highly motivated. I'm looking for that 8 to 10 to 1. I think we're definitely going to get it because Essential Quality is going to be over bet. Rock Your World is going to take all the West Coast money. And, you know, Known Agenda will take some money as well. So, as you can see, I'm going to key in the trifecta.
Did I get your numbers right there?
I'm
Duane?
sorry?
Do I have all your numbers right?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
17 over the 1, 3, 7, 14, and 15. That's a trifecta key. I will put the 17 in the first position. And in the second and third positions, that'll be the 1, 3, 7, 14, 15, who is Known Agenda. Brooklyn Strong, because I'm a New Yorker and I got to use him. And I like Rispoli on that horse. Mandaloon, who definitely I think could bounce into a good race. I spoke about that. I just can't understand the head scratcher last month. And Essential Quality and Rock Your World. So I will key to 17 over these horses. Then I will box up a trifecta of Known Agenda, Essential Quality, and Highly Motivated. Those are my top 3 selections, and let's hope it plays out.
Okay, so I'll bring my slide up. So my top pick is Essential Quality. I have Duane's Highly Motivated second, who's going to be a much better price than Essential Quality, Rock Your World, and I put Hot Rod Charlie in. So I think our biggest difference is probably you're using Known Agenda and I'm using Hot Rod Charlie.
Correct.
Kind of those are, you took a stand against my horse and I took a stand against yours. Hopefully it won't matter. Maybe they both don't show up and we get we get Highly Motivated in there. So what I'm going to do is play a couple trifecta tickets, keying Essential Quality in the first and second spots. Now, yes, he's going to be a short price, but I don't think he's as short in the trifecta, the exactas, and all the rolling bets as he is going to be in the win pool, because we've talked about how Mattress Mac's going to bet him down to, whatever this horse is going to go, 8 to 5, 7 to 5, I don't know. But I still don't think that affects the trifecta pools and so forth. So I am going to key Essential Quality. I'm going to put 3 horses in the second spot, the 9 Hot Rod Charlie, the 15 Rock Your World, and the 17 Highly Motivated, and then put all for third and hope something crazy happens. My second ticket will put those 3 horses on top, 9, 15, and 17, putting Essential Quality for second, and then all for third. Again, I'm hoping for chaos in that third spot. And then I'm going to come back with an exacta tri-superfecta box of 9, 14, 15, 17, and I want to get number 12 helium in there in some capacity. You know, you can do 50-cent try boxes. The supers, I guess, are $1 minimum. I don't know.
Yes.
They are
Well,
$1
in
minimum.
Las Vegas, we have no superfectas.
No
but,
supers.
last year, I believe that Churchill Downs did change and take the 10-cent supers, to my knowledge. They might be on track taking 10-cent supers.
So if you can get helium in there at a huge price, you know, try to get him into your try or your super. But that's the way I'm going to bet the race. And then we'll open it up for questions. Duane, I think maybe a good question is, what bets are you guys able to take through the book? How, you know, people are asking about that.
Yeah, in Las Vegas, it's unique. We are not hooked up to the pari-mutuel pools, guys. I know you guys know that already. We haven't had a contract now with Churchill Downs for a couple of years. So here at the Rampart, we are offering win, place, and show. We are offering exacta and trifecta, small caps on daily doubles, and very small caps on pick threes. We're one of the very few places that are offering this extensive wagering menu. I know the competition in the area is not offering these wagers, you know, so that's what we're restricted to. It's more of a scenario now like, you know, I play the bookmaker and you're betting football. It's me versus you. I have to absorb the loss and take the hit, whereas normally in the pari-mutuel pool, we just, you know, want you guys to win as much as possible. The track takes all the liability and pays us to book the action. It's a lot different, you know. That's why you're seeing smaller limits here in Las Vegas this year. Some places aren't even choosing to carry it. So you have to take that into consideration. We're not hooked up to the track. It's like going back 40 years ago with a pencil and paper and a pad, you know. Bets, cap it after $100, you know, and these bets do have caps on the payoffs, you know, 500 to 1 on trifectas and the pick threes. The biggest cap exact is 150. We are paying track price, though, at the Rampart on win, play, show, which is an excellent option, you know, in Las Vegas right now. That's why we somewhat try to keep the pick fours and pick fives. Bob and I love to handicap pick fours and pick fives. They're just not available, you know, in Las Vegas this year. But, you know, due to the broadcast here, we're straight out. You know, definitely you could hit me up or Bob on Twitter. We'll give you pick threes, pick fours, and pick fives.
And we're going to give you your pick four anyway, because you came up with a ticket. So here is Duane's pick four on races 9 through 12, if you want to take them through that, Duane.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, also take into consideration, guys, you can make rolling pick threes. So you could bet 9, 10, 11, 10, 11, 12, and make rolling pick threes here. So, you know, that's why we are streaming this out throughout America. I did want to give a pick four, and, you know, I did want to start with the 9th race so everybody could get a grasp. We're taking action on the 9th race. You know, we're also limited to only taking the graded stakes races here in Las Vegas. So keep that in mind as well. So I started, you know, my pick four in race 9, the American Turf. I'll use number 2 horse, Win From Within, number 4, Annex, number 5, Du Jour, number 13, Scarlet Sky, and number 14, Palazzi. That's the first leg. Second leg, 10, the Churchill Downs, a grade 1, real nice field here. I'm going to use number 2, Mind Control, number 3, Basin, number 4, Flagstaff, and number 9, Whitmore, the Breeders' Cup champion. I now will move on to the Old Turf Classic and use the 1, Master of Foxhounds, 3, Colonel Liam, 4, Ivar, 5, Domestic Spending, 6, Digital Age, and the 7, Smooth Like Straight. And in the last leg, I'm going with my top 2 selections, Known Agenda and Highly Motivated in the Kentucky Derby. So remember, you can make rolling pick threes, easily doubles. The pick four is for everybody out there that's watching on the live stream.
And I came up with a pick 3 ticket that's going to start in the 10th race. And I'm going to try a single on a horse, and I'll talk Duane into adding this horse to his pick 4 ticket. Number 12, Endorsed, who is 12-1 on the morning line. This horse had a nightmarish trip at Gulfstream Park last time from the rail. You get Alvarado to Rosario today with an outside post. I think this horse will be stalking. You really have to watch the tape to appreciate just how bad the trip and the ride was last time. This jockey, I don't know what he was doing. He was sitting on the rail waiting for something to open up behind tiring horses, and by the time he swung out, Fat Man, who's in this race, had a 3 or 4 length jump on him, and he couldn't get to him. So I think this is a good gamble tomorrow. This is in the 10th race, number 12, Endorsed. He's 12-1, and I'm going to go ahead and take a shot and single there. I'm going to use all in the Turf Classic. To me, I think every horse in there has a credentials to win the race, and there's 9 of them. Very, very tough race. And then I'm going to come back with my top 4 horses from the Kentucky Derby. Hot Rod Charlie, Essential Quality, Rock Your World, and Highly Motivated. That would be a $36 ticket if you were betting a $1 increment there. So race 10 tomorrow, 12 with all, with 9, 14, 15, 17. And, you know, when you're starting off with a 12-1, I don't think he'll be 12-1. I think he'll take some action, but it's still going to be a good value play. So, Duane, I think we kind of have gone through it. Let's open it up for questions, and hopefully we can give the good people here a few winners. Yes, sir. The weather's supposed to be perfect tomorrow.
Yeah.
Perfect weather, 75 and sunny.
It does always rain, Lee. You're right. So anything could happen. But, yeah, I'm going to stick with this. I think we're pretty much covered. I'm hoping the weather forecast is good. I'll be honest with you. You know, there's a couple of horses that definitely move up on and off track because of breeding. And you could see it in the past performances as well. So, you know, if it does happen to come up off, I think a horse like Brooklyn Strong definitely could run if it comes off. You know, he definitely improves. You could see that on a sloppy track. And, you know, breeding is very important when it starts to a muddy track. So always keep that in mind.
Yes, sir. How many in the 11th? There's nine horses in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Solid field, too. Very solid.
And Duane, also, you have don't forget there's a drawing after we get done here for...
Oh, yes. Stick around. Don't forget the drawing when we conclude. Alan. Yeah, I definitely agree with Bob, but I do feel that a rider like John Velasquez, even though Medina Spirit, I don't believe is as quick as Rock Your World, but he's going to move the horse up a little. I think Midnight Bourbon is going to be a part of the pace. You know, nobody's going to let this horse just walk around the track. This is the Kentucky Derby. There's 19 options. I think that Hot Rod Charlie's going to be close. I think there's several pace options here that will make Joel work a little harder and make the job a little more difficult than the 5-6 horse field that we saw at Santa Anita on a speed favoring track. You guys were there. You saw it firsthand. Rail was a lightning strip. We'll see. I think Rock Your World's going to have the lead, but I think there's going to be some company out there. No, we're offering wagering right now at the Rampart. You could, right after the seminar, go right to the Race at Sportsbook. We're taking action.
Yes, sir. That's a great question. That's a great question. I don't know the answer. But you're right. Pletcher did win it today. That was a hell of an Oaks. Those two horses really fired big. I'll have to do some research on that, and we'll find out. But I think it's happened before. It's obviously not a common thing, but you know.
That's a head scratch. I'll tell you.
You know what? Pletcher's done better in the Oaks than he has in the Derby. He's won 4 Oaks now.
One Derby.
And
Right.
2 Derbies,
Two
I
Derbies,
think.
too.
But at one point, he was like 0 for 40-something
Right,
in the
exactly.
Kentucky Derby because he always has 3 or 4 horses. So his record in the Derby is not sparkling, but it is very good in the Oaks.
Any
Anybody
other
else?
questions? Yes, miss. I'm sorry?
He
Yeah,
probably
he probably
did,
did because he
yeah.
had 6 Kentucky Derbies like Bob had on the graphic. So, yes, I would believe that. Did Baffert ever do it? That's a good question.
Baffert may have won the
Yeah,
Oaks
he
one
might
of
have
those
done
years.
it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to do a little research. That's a great question. Well, Asmussen's never won the Derby.
Right.
No, he's never won the Derby. Yeah. It's kind of a...
Him, Trad Brown.
Chad, no, Asmussen hasn't won the Derby. Chad Brown hasn't won it.
Right.
You know, Brad Cox is a young guy, hasn't had many starters in it, but he's trying to become the first Louisville native to win the Derby.
Sure.
Dale Romans has never won the Derby.
No.
Yeah, so
A lot of these trainers have not won the Kentucky Derby, but, you know, then you have Baffert, Doug O'Neill, the guys that have won multiple Derbies in here. So, you know, Todd Pletcher also, like Bob said, too. Any other questions? Everybody's ready for the drawing, huh? Yes. Thank you for coming out.
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate it here at the Rampart Casino. You know, it means so much to us, for everybody with the COVID situation to feel comfortable here. We have a comfortable atmosphere. Don't forget tomorrow for the ladies, even the guys, we're going to have a $250 free hat contest in the buffet. Just wear your Derby hat. Go get judged. We'll pick a winner.
Matt, I think that's for you, huh? You could win that hat contest.
Make a $50 wager, and we'll buy you lunch at the Clubhouse Deli. We will have drawings at the conclusion of the Kentucky Derby, and we're going to have a drawing right now. And Janine will help me out. She's our lovely race and sportsbook swing shift supervisor. And we're going to pick 19 names, not 20, because we did have to scratch. So what we do is we pick the first name will be known agenda. We'll go in order of post positions. The one you will receive, if I pick your name, 20 win play show. If known agenda happens to finish in the money, after the race tomorrow, you just come up to the supervisor's podium and we will have that added onto your card, your Rampart Rewards card. Now, you must have a Rampart Rewards card to have that free slot play loaded on. And it is the full pari-mutuel value. So you're getting 20 win play show. Think about how much we gave out when Country House got put up over maximum security. So, you know, you're talking about a nice piece of change there. He paid, what, $80? So that's $800 just for the win spot in free slot play. So this is an excellent opportunity. We're going to pick 19 names right now. Thank you once again for joining us here at the Rampart Casino. I thank you. Bob Ike thanks you. Thank you all out there. A beautiful webcast. Thank you, Jake and Ken, for running that. They do a fabulous job, our AV team here. And let's get to the drawing.
Thank you, Duane, for having me.
Always, Bob.
I really love coming out to this property. And Sam, thanks for having me. And thank you for such a great turnout tonight. We hope we can keep this going. And
can't do it without you guys. That's what it's all about. Whether, you know, my race and sports book, everything. I appreciate you guys so much. And everybody knows me. You just come and see me. I thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to have Janine draw our first name. This will be for the one horse. Once again, thank you for both Duane and Bob. That was a lot of good information. You guys certainly are experts, so for sure. All right, the one horse goes to Tom Swan, 47581. Is Tom in here? There he is, right here. All right.